With Lydia secure, the ambitions of Galatia turned eastwards, and King Magarix's people embarked on a number of small-scale raids in the countryside north of the city of Tarsos. These attacks went totally unopposed by a regional Seleucid government already facing a dozen enemies across the region, including the armies of Bithynia and troops from the city-state of Rhodes. Wealth from the new conquests flowed back into Ankara, where the native population was beginning to see the benefits of Gallic rule in the form of riches, slaves, food, and other luxury items. The practice of wearing Celtic jewellery like torques was becoming widespread among the more affluent natives. Some locals saw potential for even greater opportunities. Already, the noted chieftain Hipparchos had raised a small force of 900 Cappadocian volunteers who took part in the sacking of Pessinus, eager to profit from the local Greeks' misfortune. Caxtos, chieftain of the Trochmai and a legendary commander of cavalry among his peers, had also raised a force of mounted lancers from the same region. I, meanwhile, was repeatedly sent back to Sidé in continued attempts to make diplomatic overtures to the Ptolemies. The pharaoh's representatives were far more welcoming in these subsequent visits, and it was made clear that Egypt had large sums of gold available to Magarix should he be willing to marshal his forces to attack Tarsos and Antioch from the north. With or without this incentive, I believe Magarix would have done so anyway, being as intoxicated upon recent victories as he was, but the figure agreed upon in the event was a staggering 9,000 pounds of gold, making readily apparent the vast wealth of Egypt to the Gauls, who certainly noted this for future reference. I was not alone in this endeavour. I was, as usual, accompanied by armed riders bearing the king's banner, but also a member of Magarix's household, a noblewoman known as Aquitawanes. She was, let there be no mistake, one of Melina's women. While I had the confidence of the king, the same presumably could not be said of his wife, who remained characteristically haughty and supercilious in all our dealings, and this addition to our party was a symbolic gesture of her distrust. Aquitawanes herself was formally brought into the royal household after coming to Melina's attention 2 years prior. She was something of a prodigy when it came to the science of agriculture, having adopted local innovations like a duck to water, revolutionizing the farming practices of the Gallic settlers around Ankara, with new ploughing techniques and the rotation of crops. Her mind was home to the inquisitive habits of a scholar, naturally making her a good choice to keep an eye on my efforts. Though unlike her matronly liege, she was disarmingly agreeable and a good conversationalist, so she did not make for unpleasant company. In the summer of 479, we returned to Ankara carrying the agreement with Ptolemy in hand, but discovered, to our horror, a city in mourning. The 9-year-old son and heir of King Magarix was dead. Taken by a fever during the night, or so I was told, it came quite unexpectedly, and the Gallic court was rife with suspicion over the incident. For my part, I believe the death was of lamentably natural causes. For one thing, the summer that year was the hottest on record for the last decade, and the heat wore heavily on the constitution of every Gaul in the province, as they were more accustomed to the cooler climate of the northern Barbaricum. The Druids pronounced that the fever and the incredible heat had proved too great for the boy's constitution, and this was probably correct. For another thing, Melina would, I am sure, have ordered the drowning of the entire population of Ankara as offerings to Teutatis, upon the merest suspicion that one among them had been responsible for the death of her boy, and in the event, such a thing did not occur. Magarix expressed little emotion on the subject. It is Gallic custom that the young boys spend little time with their fathers and may not even approach them in public until they are a man grown. I cannot speak for his private thoughts on the matter, however. Undaunted by this ill portent, in September, Magarix and Caxtos led a force of nearly 8,000 Gauls and mercenaries through the passes to the south of Mazaka, and onto the slopes of the foothills outside Tarsos. Suspiciously alert to the movements of the Galatian host, a force of 5,000 men under the banners of the Seleucids awaited us, accompanied by Cretan and Tarentine mercenaries, heavy cavalry armed in the Macedonian fashion, and 60 war elephants. Although having the advantage of numbers and the higher ground, Magarix remained wary and heedful of the advice of his tetrarchs, for a similar Seleucid army had seen his people defeated in the so-called Battle of the Elephants some years ago. My counsel was called for, as the king was well aware of my past military experience, and of Rome's eventual successful repulse of the armies of Epirus, who were similarly armed in a raid. By our wisdom combined, a plan was soon contrived, and the king ordered the advance. After some initial cavalry skirmishes, the Seleucids, eager to get to grips with their upstart barbarian opponents, advanced up the hillside. The elephants charged to the left and right of our centre, and with a level of discipline that astonished me, backed up by the encouragements of Magarix, who took it upon himself to ride up and down the line relentlessly, the lightly armed Gallic warriors were able to panic the beasts. By a combination of javelin volleys, their natural agility, and the efforts of our Syrian mercenaries who used arrows which were wrapped in resin-soaked fibres and set alight before being loosed upon the elephants, the attack was repulsed, and the unfortunate creatures were sent trampling down the hillside through the ranks of the Seleucid infantry, causing much havoc and disarray in the process. The Seleucid pikemen thus found themselves upon difficult ground, outnumbered, and with their formation disrupted by the chaos. Caxtos and his lancers, who, with the aid of the fearsome Gaisartai upon the flanks, had routed the Seleucid cavalry and thus wheeled about upon the enemy's rear. With a few swift charges, the morale of the enemy was shattered, and I noted, with some satisfaction, that the heirs of Alexander had that day been thoroughly beaten at their own game. The shock of this victory would go on to reverberate around the Greek world. Magarix's earlier successes had been against beleaguered city levies, but now a host of Gauls had routed a professional army of the Diadokoi, and no doubt observers in the court of Egypt were beginning to express concerns over the ferocious force their money had unleashed upon the region. The Ptolemies had surely expected Magarix to prove an expensive distraction and nuisance to the Seleucids, but he had eclipsed all these expectations in a colourful display of generalship that was now impossible to ignore. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Rome 2 Total War, where it would be more accurately called Galatia Total War, really, since that's the campaign. Previously, we took Tarsos from the Seleucids and defeated them in a big battle, and there's a fancy little marker here to commemorate that event. It was a marvellous battle. We did quite well. Lost a surprisingly large amount of guys in the process, though perhaps it shouldn't really be that surprising. The Galatians are a brave bunch, but they're also a very squishy bunch, unfortunately. No chainmail for us. Well, you know, at least unless you're a noble. In which case, you do get some chainmail. The Gauls practically invented this stuff, as far as I'm aware. They have the earliest archaeological examples of chainmail that we found. And it was a pretty good invention, really, because when you consider just how many centuries the stuff ended up being used for, that was a bit of clever Gallic ingenuity, the old chainmail. Stood the test of time, that stuff, didn't it? Anyway, previously, as I said, we took Tarsos. Tarsos itself is in an absolute state. It previously got looted by the Bithynians, and now it's in our hands. And, yeah, the people are not very happy. That will change next turn, though, hopefully. The only reason the only reason the place isn't going to rebel very soon is honestly because of the 21 bonus from characters.
I live to serve the people of
on account of you guys hanging out here.
Gaul is mother to us all.
You're going to have to continue hanging out for a little bit while we get things under control, I think. We're currently repairing the buildings, but they'll need to be converted as well. After that, I wish I could expand a bit faster. But this mess needs to be gotten under control. We've currently got a deficit right now. We're losing 148 a turn, and we're running low on food as well. The conquest in the grand campaign of Divide et Impera is not an easy business by any stretch of the imagination. But I will be doing my best to wrangle it under control. Meanwhile, Preto is keeping an eye on the Seleucids. There's a couple of armies over here, very small ones, but no doubt there will be an answer for this. But my goal today would hopefully be to actually take Antioch. If not take Antioch, then at least besiege Antioch. We'll see how we get on. But we got some definite tidying up to do first before we can consolidate our gains and move forwards. That's for damn sure. Alright, folks. It is November 275 BC. That army from Rhodes that was making its way along the coast here has laid siege to Antioch. It looks like the Rhodians. And yeah, I know it's weird calling them that when you're into Star Wars, but the Rhodians look like they might end up getting to Antioch before us. Well, bully for them, I guess. The scramble for the east here to slowly eat up all of the Seleucids' territory is certainly a thing. They seem to be at war with half the planet right now. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chinese are going to come over here from the east and start trying to gobble up some bloody Seleucid territory at this point. It's kind of absurd. They're at war with Ephesos, Rhodes, Pergamum, Parthia, whoever they are, Bactria, the Ptolemies, us, the Kidri, whoever they are, the Azagata, Bithynia. They're at war with everybody. It's insane. It's ridiculous. Yeah, they're at war with just about everyone at the moment, and everyone is coming to claim their slice of the Seleucid pie, pretty much, and the Rhodians have got their eyes set on Antioch, which makes sense. They're a sort of maritime faction, the Rhodians. There's Rhodes, of course, right there with the old Colossus over by the docks, which does appear on the battle map, oddly enough. I did a battle at Rhodes recently in the Mithridatic Wars campaign, and you had the Colossus of Rhodes on the battle map. It was very cool. Yes, it makes sense for them to want to get Antioch, though, because they are, as I said, a maritime faction. Yeah, I'm just kind of sitting here, arms folded and watching the chaos, quite frankly. Tarsos was slowly getting back under control. People there are still pretty unhappy. I'm in the process of building a sacred enclosure there, which I'm going to turn into a temple of some description, probably another Teutatis one. I'm converting the main settlement into a barbarian village. It's all a bit of a slow, grinding process. I am upgrading the farms where I can, because I did recently unlock the tech for that, so more food is good. We're having a bit of a food shortage until recently. King Magarix and his boys have moved back over the border into Mazaka because, yeah, we're starting to run into the whole manpower problem. Caxtos is replenishing some of his guys a little bit. It looks like there's just the little tiniest bit of population available to reinforce his army a little bit over here in Tarsos, but I've had to move Magarix back over here to reinforce his army, because there was just no population available. There was nobody available to actually, you know, replace his losses, which is another problem playing as the Gauls and taking a lot of casualties. You've got to replace them somehow, and you don't have a limitless pool of population to do that with. So that's another reason why the expansion train has come to a screeching halt after Tarsos, because, well, yeah, Tarsos' public order is in a state. The town itself is in a bit of a state. The army's in a state. Everything's in a state. Oh, and to boot, Pergamum just decided, after repeatedly asking me for military access and non-aggression pacts and all that kind of stuff, every turn badgering me with this crap, they've just decided to brazenly march an army into my territory anyway. They've decided, right, screw these uppity Galatians, we're going to march our army across their land anyway to get to the Seleucids. And, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm taking this as the insult with which it is probably intended. I don't like this at all. What do they got here? Pergamene pikemen. Ugh. Pergamene hoplites. Thracian mercenary peltasts. Pergamene cavalry. Carian axemen. Phrygian levies. Phrygian mercenary spearmen. Rhodian mercenary slingers. It's kind of a mean-looking army they've got there, you know. But I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. I'm almost considering this something of a casus belli. I probably shouldn't. But they're trespassing right now. It even says so, look. This faction's marched troops into your lands without permission. By Jutatis. I will not stand for this. What kind of allies do they have? What's the situation here with Pergamon? Their military allies are Ephesos and Rhodes. Oh, great. I'm not sure I could take all three of them at once. In addition to technically being at war with the Seleucids and some of their satraps. That's a pain. We have no choice but to allow them to march willy-nilly over our lands right now. There's nothing I can do about it. Not without getting ourselves into a real pile of trouble. Pergamon, you're going to burn before this campaign is done, I swear to you. I swear upon the old gods that Pergamon will burn before this series is done. It just won't burn today, I don't think. Folks, it is January 274 BC. The Rhodians, well, it looks like they tried to take Antioch and didn't come off very well and have now gotten bored and wandered off. They're headed this way, towards Odessa. Apparently having decided better of trying to take Antioch. The place still appears to be in flames. Actually, you know what? They probably succeeded, but I reckon they maybe just sacked the place. If this is still all on fire and they're walking away, it probably means they sacked the place, although it looks like they lost almost half their army in the attempt. Wow. Okay. Archon. Would that be their faction leader, do you think? Cosmos of Rhodes. Foraging for food. Yeah, well, anyway, in either case, Antioch is not in Rhodian hands, but a lot of its valuables, I think, might have been pillaged. The Seleucids are not putting up much of a fight. They've got like this one little stack meandering around near Odessa, and that's kind of it, really. Tarsos is looking a little happier these days, as you can see. That's mostly because King Magarix is in town. Well, so to speak, anyway. He's in the region. I moved him back over here as soon as I saw that Antioch had been vacated. It's the middle of winter, not traditional campaigning season, but it is still... We're in the Med, and therefore it's relatively warm down here, which means that we've still got a fair bit of campaign movement available and that sort of thing. We can campaign in the winter if we need to. If you're up in like the northern regions, up like in Gaul and the Barbaricum, all of this up here, and you try and campaign in the winter, it's incredibly hard. Your movement gets restricted. It's snowing in Antioch, everybody. Yeah, your movement distance gets restricted or shrunk right the way down if you're campaigning up there in the snow. In winter, it's rough. But down here, there's a little more wiggle room on account of the warm climate. So I might try and take Antioch next turn. I might do it. We can't do it this turn. We ain't got the movement points. The army has been largely replenished. Some of these units here aren't quite fully replenished, but it's best we can manage at the moment. Caxtos is still over here patrolling near Tarsos, trying to get everything under control. I might want to bring him over, though, for the siege. In fact, I probably will. Tarsos itself, one more turn till the barbarian village is done. Still building the sacred enclosure. The Pergamese have wandered off. They seem to have made their point, whatever their point was, and they've left my territory now. They've marched back over to Pergamon. Ephesos, oddly enough, every turn at the moment, they seem to be begging me for a non-aggression pact or a defensive alliance. I'm not sure what their deal is, really. But they're out with the begging bowl every turn, giving me the offer of a defensive alliance if I give them like 1,000 gold or whatever. I keep telling them to sod off, as you can imagine. Yeah, not much else happening. I should not mention, actually, we've had a new child added to the family. Magarix and Melina have gotten together and have produced a Satiolos, apparently. There he is, age 0. New member of the family. The lives of children are cheap in the ancient world. They were, I'm afraid. So while we mourn poor Bagabranos, he's been apparently replaced pretty damn quick. So that's another development. Was there anything else worth mentioning? Let's see, household expands, a few other bits like this. Hariva have been destroyed, whoever they are. I think they were one of the people we were at war with, technically, actually. Inspired populace, that's nice to see. Hidden agent discovered. Who? Really? All the way over there? I somehow doubt that. Never mind. Not much else to mention. I feel like there was something important I was going to mention, and it's completely slipped my mind now. Deary me. What was it? I actually don't know. Ah! Now I remember.
For the tribe.
Magarix has got a level up. I don't usually, like, hit the record button just to do level ups for characters. I usually take care of that off screen, but it's Magarix, man. It's the man himself. I just decided, you know what? He is worth recording his level ups. So at the moment, there's a few things that we could go for that are nice. Unwavering Patriot's a fun one because it gives you Empire maintenance discounts, and Empire maintenance discounts are really nice. Not super relevant for us right now, but they'll become relevant if we ever become a really large faction. +3 cultural conversion of the local province is pretty nice, though. That is relevant to our interests right now. Out of curiosity, what is our Empire maintenance at the moment? It is 8.2%. Wow, okay, yeah. My current Roman campaign in the Mithridatic Wars campaign is I think I have minus 85% Empire maintenance versus right now minus 8.2%. So anyway, let's see other options as well. Ferocious Warrior, Commander of Men, Skilled Tactician. Let's see, Political Animal would be nice. Gives you +2 gravitas per turn. So I'm thinking that's going to be the first one we take. Run out of slots here, so I need to start choosing carefully. Political Animal. Again, we could level that up, but I'm not going to right now. Patron of the Military. -6% upkeep for land units. I think Unwavering Patriot I might go for. Yeah, for the cultural conversion. I like that. And then we've got 3 slots left in our thing. So what other branch here do I really want to go down? Commander of Men, perhaps? Dread Commander. Booming Voice. Proven Leader. Nah, I'm not. I'm a bit whelmed. I'm definitely whelmed by those options. These ones are all kind of governor things, capable bureaucrat and whatnot. Skilled Tactician. Oh. Come on, bring the thing up again. That just gives you cunning. Morale for defensive battles. Extra ambush chance. Morale for ambush battles. Siegecraft expert. Knight Commander. Not feeling all of those either, really, very much, I have to admit. These ones, morale for offensive battles. Skilled Cavalryman. Caxtos obviously has that, as we know. Trained Swordsman, Experienced Archer. The +3% melee skill is nice. The strongest ones, honestly, they always seem to be in Military Logistician and Rightful Sovereign. These are the ones I always end up taking. Quartermaster, because you can get lots of ancillaries like these things that boost morale, rather than taking these. +5% replenishment rate is good. Master of Scouts. You know what? When in doubt, just upgrade something. Actually, I think that's a good idea. So, why don't we upgrade Unwavering Patriot so that he's getting +6 cultural conversion in whatever province he's in at the time, which will help here. At the moment in Tarsos, it'll help us do a bit of cultural conversion in this neck of the woods. Pessinus, if you're curious, now up to 16.9% Celtic culture. It's going up relatively fast, which is good. The Shrine of Tutatis is definitely helping. As is this guy, Ad Cobritatis, which I've noticed, by the way, that Ad Cobritatis here, he's only like 19 years old. Yeah, he's not, he's that is the hairiest looking 19-year-old I have ever seen. Anyway, there we go, that's that done, folks. I'll be back. Maybe next turn, if I can get the jump on Antioch. If I want to get the jump on Antioch. I suppose I do. Because, yeah. If we have Antioch, then we have options to go to Thapsacos and Odessa. If someone else takes Antioch, then we could certainly march through and get Odessa or Thapsacos anyway, but we'll end up with some horrible border gore, and nobody likes border gore, so, yeah, I think we should probably take Antioch. There's one diplomatic development as well I've noticed that is maybe of interest, and that is that Pontus's relationship with us is getting chillier and chillier, and the reason for that is because they don't like the fact that we're at war with the Seleucids, which is a fascinating development. The Pontus apparently is very much in the Seleucid camp on the geopolitical stage right now. They are very pro-Seleucid, which surprised me, actually. It really surprised me. I didn't take them for being part of the pro-Seleucid gang. It's a very small gang, you know. But particularly since they're such good friends with Bithynia, and Bithynia hate the Seleucids, so there it is, though, I guess. So, worst case scenario, could end up at war with Pontus in the future. I don't really want to end up at war with Pontus in the future, though, to tell you the truth. I don't really have any ambitions in that direction. I don't want to go through Pontus and into Armenia and all that. I don't care. It's not a part of the world that Magarix and his Gauls are interested in. Mesopotamia has its charms because it's so rich. But my ambitions generally tend to lie towards, this sort of direction over here. This direction and, this direction. Not interested in this. Mildly interested in Egypt, maybe, someday. But the thing is, we're such good friends with the Egyptians that being at war with them anytime soon seems unlikely. They are, as you can see, they are. We're pretty chummy with them. In fact, I don't think there's a single faction on the map that likes us more than they do at the moment. So, yeah. Pontus, keep an eye on them. Basically, let's keep an eye on them. Well, folks, it's the following turn, and all I have to say is bollocks. Yeah, the Ptolemies came in and took Antioch, and by the looks of it, they have no intentions of leaving anytime soon either. That is a big, fat stack of troops they've dumped on the place. They've moved in and have no intentions of leaving anytime soon, I think. Ah, crap. Never mind. We're running out of expansion options as the Galatians. This is the tricky part right now. I'm running out of directions to go in, except for Pontus, and I don't want to go to Pontus. I don't want to conquer Pontus. It's not part of the plan. And yet they're starting to look like the only direction I can go in without pissing off everybody. These campaigns never turn out quite the way you think they're going to, but God, for goodness sake, not Pontus. Anyone but Pontus. I don't want to fight. If I want to fight Pontus, I'm going to have to go all the way to Armenia. I don't want to go to Armenia. I've no interest in Armenia. If I take Armenia, then that means I'm end up bordering with all sorts of lunatics out here. The Parthians, the Bactrians, all sorts of nonsense. This is not where I want to be. Oh God, you have to deal with the nomads coming down through the Caucasus as well. No interest in any of that rubbish. That's all I have to say to all of this. I just want to go rampaging and pillaging in the direction of my choice. Is that so hard, game? No, of course not. Got to have every possible avenue of expansion walled off. So I'm just stuck here. Oh well. Should I have expanded faster? I mean, I think I probably would have expanded faster if I could have, if I'm totally honest with you. It's taken 3 turns just to get Tarsos mostly sorted out. And even then, it's still kind of a mess. Cultural differences is bringing the public order down by a chunk right now. I mean, we're in +12, but the only reason for that is because I got 2 damn characters in the province. One of which is patrolling at the moment. Yeah, being squeezed by public order. We're also being squeezed when it comes to food as well. I'm having to do political actions to keep our food in the positive at the moment throughout the winter. I am upgrading a farm here, but it's got 8 more friggin' turns to go. It's taking forever. And we have just a noticeable lack of farms across all of our stuff at the moment. And the biggest problem I have, actually, honestly, is just lack of growth. We need more growth so I can expand my settlements. I don't have enough population surplus anywhere. And most of my towns only have like 1 building. You know, Mazaka's got its ironworks. Iconion's got its sewage ditch. It's frustrating. I might have to dismantle the ironworks and replace it with a farm if possible. I need to sit here and have a think about it because we're squeezed at the moment. We're really squeezed for building options and things. It's difficult. It's difficult. Squeezed for everything. Squeezed for public order, building options, expansion options. Yeah, it's all tremendously annoying. Well, that's interesting. The Romans have reached a new military reform. The Polybian reforms. No doubt old Lentulus will be taking notes and finding out everything he can about that. But, yeah, the short version is, as Rome continues to fight Carthage and whatnot, they've reformed their armies. Their troops are no longer running around with spears. They're largely switching to using short swords. The Roman army is slowly professionalizing and starting to resemble the Roman legions that we all know and love from the later classical period. What it means for us in gameplay terms really is nothing other than the Romans are going to have access to some punchier units these days. Not that that's terribly relevant for us all the way over here in Anatolia, but hey, good to know. I didn't realise it gave you an event to let you know about that, but that's kind of fun. Alright folks, it is May 274 BC. And things are going along. I've moved Hipparchos over here to Tarsos to try and get the public order under control, which he is doing with gusto. I've recruited another chieftain.
A merry meeting.
It is just to confuse everything. He's called Magarix. We'll call him Magarix the Lesser. The other Magarix, yeah, I had to go for him though because his trait or whatever you call it, Lawmaster, was so much better than the other options available. So we have another Magarix, a different Magarix, not that Magarix, the other Magarix, not the king, the random dude Magarix. Anyway, he's deployed over here, helping do some cultural conversion and whatnot in Tarsos. Which is up to 6.5% Celtic culture now. I think we're up to 20% or so in Pessinus. I'd love to recruit more governor generals like Hipparchos here, because gosh, they are so useful when it comes to dealing with public order. Because right now, our home major province region is at -5, and there's like nothing I can do about it at the moment. We've got a -10 from cultural differences, -7 from taxes, -3 from slaves, and -4 caused by buildings in the region, and I can't really do anything about it other than keep spamming political actions to organise games, and that costs us money to do, so I'm going to keep spamming that. All the best I can do really is move Hipparchos between these two provinces to try and keep everything under control. Being railed right now by public order issues is the real problem. It's paralysing how difficult it is to deal with. Still building the Grove of Two Charters. Once that's done, that will improve public order a little smidge. We're mostly building it for the cultural influence, though. I'm going to switch it, especially over here in Pessinus as well. Once the Celtic influence is high enough, we'll switch the Shrine of Two Charters out for something else that provides more public order. I think that's my plan. But anyway, that's how things are going. Over here in the east, I've decided might as well just stop whinging and march onwards, because I've noticed that under no circumstances whatsoever will the Seleucids even consider peacing out with me. Because that was the first thing I tried to do. I decided, right, not sod it then. Maybe I'll just try and peace out with the Seleucids, keep Tarsos, count my blessings, I got something out of this war, and leave it at that. But even if I offer them my entire treasury, and I offer to switch sides and go to war with all their enemies, they still refuse to accept. The chance of acceptance is still low. So that's good old Total War diplomatic AI for you. They just refuse to peace out with me under any circumstances. I could hop into a time machine, go to the 20th century, come back, and offer them the machine gun, and they would still say no. So I guess the only option left to me is to, just continue conquering. I weep for the border gore that will result from Antioch being in Ptolemaic hands, but never mind. What are you going to do? I guess. Yeah, we'll just have to live with that. I've been repeatedly sending diplomats to them every single turn, and the RNG still has not favoured me with a critical success, allowing me to have a settlement off them. Yeah, that's kind of annoying, really, but never mind. So yeah, we're marching on Odessa. Magarix and Caxtos are on their way to Odessa. I'm going to end turn in a minute, and we'll find out what happens. Maybe they'll come to us. I doubt it, though. But either way, we're going to try and take Odessa, and then quickly, in short order after that, I'd quite like to have Thapsacos as well, before someone else bloody well snaps it up. Looking at you, Ptolemaic Egypt. They've got Palmyra. And there's Dura, and then there's Hatra. We're playing that delicate diplomatic balancing act with Pontus, because the more we fight the Seleucids, the less Pontus likes us. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of ransoming of captives after battles, I suspect, in the future, just to try and keep Pontus happy, because if you release captives, Pontus likes it, because they're friends with the Seleucids, so it'll piss off the Ptolemies and everyone else a little bit, but I can afford to piss them off slightly by releasing captives. So yeah, it's tricky. It's sort of sitting here right in the middle of a big old Cold War situation between Pontus and pretty much everybody else. And I don't want to go to war with Pontus for reasons already explained. In an ideal world, if I had to fight them, I could take Samosata, Amaziah, and maybe even our Samosata, and then peace them out and be like, right, I'm done. I've got everything I wanted. I'll peace out now, okay, thanks. But they won't do that. They'll be like Seleucids. They'll just be like, no, total war. You must destroy every last settlement I have before I even consider piecing you out. Because that's just how the AI works in this game. It's like, you'll whittle them down to like one final settlement, and only then will they come to you and say, would you like a peace treaty? And then they'll have the temerity to ask you for money to accept it as well. I've seen it happen. You'll whittle an empire from 16 settlements all the way down to one, and then when they've got one last settlement left and your victory is guaranteed, you'll hit enter and you'll get a diplomatic pop-up, and they'll say, if you give me 1,000 gold, I'll give you a peace treaty. And it's just like, you feel like crushing them and razing their last settlement to the ground just for the insult, don't you? But never mind. With the Seleucids, I'm basically just hoping that all of their angry neighbours do the work for us and finish them off in the long run. And in the meantime, we'll grab Odessa, and then hopefully maybe Thapsacos, and then we'll see from where we want to go from there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting to notice a theme. Rhodes just sacked Odessa. They didn't take it, though. I'm sure the Ptolemies will be along any moment if I let them to try and take Odessa for themselves. Not going to friggin' happen, guys. Not gonna happen. The Gauls are having Odessa. Settlement captured, they had no garrison left, they're all dead. So we can occupy, we can loot, we can sack, we can raise, we can liberate. I'm tempted to occupy. I'm actually very tempted to occupy. But no, the Gauls will loot whatever's left, I think. And whatever's left, apparently, is 17.5 grand. I'm stunned. I didn't think there'd be much left after they've already been through the place. But I guess they did sack it. They didn't loot it, so... If we were to sack it, money gains 0. Weirdly enough. But if we loot it, we get 17.5 grand. Which I'll have, thanks very much. That'll top up the treasury quite nicely. We have Odessa, everybody. It's in a bit of a state. Along with the rest of our fledgling empire in that regard, I guess. And I think I should be gunning for Thapsacos next. But first of all, we've got to try and get this place under control. Oh, look, another province where we have no cultural influence. Good stuff. Go ahead and move you out of town. Move Caxtos up next to you so you can reinforce if necessary. Caxtos, I could set you to patrol. There is a major downside to patrolling. You may notice it on the tooltip there. Forces in this stance are always ambushed when attacked, and that can be catastrophic. So I could put him on patrol right now to sort of try and keep public order going a little bit, but there's a chance that this guy might march over here and attack me, in which case, oh god, I'd be ambushed, and that would not be good. However, the likelihood of that happening I think, is relatively small, so I am going to put you on patrol.
Stragglers will be left behind.
Which will help with the public order a teensy-weensy bit. Yes. What have they got in here, anyway? They've got a granary, a Temple of Hermes. Right, that's good. I can convert that relatively easily into something more useful. And a silk village. Ooh, silk. That's got to be valuable, right? Surely. Surely that's got to be worth something. Yeah, we're struggling for money a little bit as well. We pretty much had to take Odessa, because otherwise I was going to start going bankrupt. I was at minus 140 a turn on money until we took Odessa, so... Yeah, that's another reason we got to keep expanding. We got to pay the bills somehow. Yeah. I'm curious to see what happens with Thapsacos next. I would like it for myself, but I'm sure someone will be along shortly to swoop in and nab the place. But thanks, old what's his face here, Cosmas, for doing the hard work for us with Odessa. I think we'll just set up shop in here, and yeah, thanks very much. I'll take it.
Ready for orders.
Get to take an entire town without taking any casualties. That's not going to happen very often, I suspect. Preto. Bud. Let me move you this way. I've got eyes on Thapsacos at the minute. I'd like to see what's over at Hatra, though. You've got these two little Seleucid armies over here, but I think they're too terrified to do anything right now. Between these three huge stacks here, they are pretty much... Yep. There's nothing they can do but shout harsh language at us, I think, at the moment. Right. I think that's all that's worth mentioning. No battle for Odessa. We just marched in and took the place without a fight, as it turned out. It is September of 274 BC, everybody, and while honestly Odessa is still a hot mess, I'm going to expand anyway. We're going to go grab Thapsacos before somebody else does. I'm reasonably confident nobody's going to attack Odessa in the meantime. Cosmas, that's the one. This lad here, the mad lad from Rhodes, who is at the moment very far from home indeed. These lunatics, like they're doing an old-fashioned migration campaign, these boys. I mean, half his army's dead at this point, but he's still going. It's like he's on a crusade. He's going to march all the way to India, this man. He's absolutely insane. I'm glad he's here, though, because he's basically watching Odessa's back for us. He's already chased down and destroyed a couple of Seleucid armies that are hanging out in the forests up here in the north. And now he's on the warpath towards Hatra, it looks like. But, yeah, in the meantime, we're going to go grab Thapsacos. So, let's do this. I assume it's got a garrison of sorts. Yes, it has. I'll just go ahead and encircle for now. We'll bring Caxtos up as support. And then we'll do this. And I think I'll treat you guys to a real-time battle, even though this one is a completely foregone conclusion. Why not just enjoy the spectacle a little bit, I suppose, and try and minimize losses as much as possible. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the tribe is ready for war once again. We're actually going to be fighting in the town itself today. The enemy hasn't sallied out to meet us. So it's going to be fighting in the streets on this one. What a spectacular view, though. Mountains up on the left-hand side there. Sun low in the sky. It's golden hour, pretty much. Lots of gold for the taking, though, for you boys. Of the literal kind. You can see the terrain out here is very sort of arid and scrub-like. We're in the middle of summer at the moment as well. It's September, so it's particularly hot out here at the moment. I imagine if I had to guess, I'd say we've probably waited until evening to start the battle, just because nobody out here in this part of the world, this time of the year, wants to be fighting in the midday sun. That's a recipe for a bad time, I think. And indeed, I think historically, that's exactly what they did in this part of the world. They didn't fight at midday. They tended to wait until later. or started earlier, or one of the two. But yeah, we're more or less ready to go. Formation is, I got all the missile units up front. Big line of the regular tribesmen. Got the Gallic behind them, and then behind them I've got the noble swordsmen. I want to try and preserve the lives of our elite units a little bit more, because I have realised lately that the deeper into enemy territory we get, the more excruciatingly difficult it is to replace losses. So, yeah. I'm going to try and preserve the lives of our Gallic, and particularly our chosen swordsman in the back here, as much as possible. Magarix is up here on the hill with his cavalry, ready to deliver a slightly underwhelming speech, as probably as usual. Caxtos and his boys will be coming onto the battlefield from over there. The Seleucids obviously will be in the town, or possibly just outside it. I don't know. Let's begin. The enemy. There they are. Sort of levy hoplites and whatnot.
Our reinforcements have arrived.
Citizen militia. Nothing much to look at, really. But there's the town. There's Caxtos and friends arriving. Is this the man himself right here? It is, as a matter of fact. There he is.
May the gods bless us, my fellow men.
Look at that pock-marked face. There they all come. He's got his lancers with him. He has indeed. These guys hopefully going to be very useful to us going forwards. We can actually recruit non-mercenary versions of these actually now in our home province. We're able to recruit, these are the hired lancers, the hired Cappadocian lancers, but we can recruit regular Cappadocian lancers now, which is nice. No real difference between them other than the upkeep cost for the regular Cappadocian lancers is slightly lower. Not much lower than you might think, actually. The mercenary version isn't actually that much more expensive, which is why I haven't bothered to replace them. But yeah. Alright, let's just grab all of you and drag you over in this direction. There we go. The enemy is sallying out of the town. Not sure what their plan is exactly right now. I'm just going to sit here on my hill and watch them for a bit while we wait for the reinforcements to arrive, and then I'll consider what I want to do next. Probably harass them with a bit of missile fire since they've got no cavalry. Seems like a good idea to me. I mean, they don't have any cavalry, right? Some garrison armies have cavalry. It doesn't happen very often, but sometimes they do. Not today, though, by the looks of things. Yeah, I'll just be waiting, I think. I did have a suggestion in the comments, actually, which was to use the replay system in the game to essentially record the battles and then narrate over them. Like in the, sort of, presumably they meant in the style of the video intros. It's a nice idea, but there are two problems with that. One is that it would increase the production time of these videos even further, which is not great. You're looking at one video a fortnight at that point rather than one a week. And the other problem with it is that the replay system in Rome 2 is dodgy. It's very dodgy. Sometimes it saves the replay correctly. Sometimes, when you play back the replay, the battle that you see in the replay bears absolutely no resemblance to the one that took place. I noticed that when I was getting footage for a previous video from our first battle that we did with the fort against those two Cappadocian armies that came at us. The replay for that battle is completely screwed. The battle in the replay doesn't happen anything like it happened in the actual battle, and in the replay's version of events, we lost big time, which is very amusing to me. But yeah, that's kind of a reason why I can't do that. It's because the replay sometimes just doesn't really work. So we're just going to record the battles the old-fashioned way with live commentary. Apologies if that's not quite what you'd like. Alright, looks like the enemy's got a death wish today. They've decided to just come at us. Their archers are, yeah, they have 2 gold chevrons for some completely insane reason.
Noble horse!
The enemy garrison has ridiculously good archers, and I couldn't even begin to tell you why. Oh god, that's the baggage train in the front. We don't need that. Caxtos is lancers.
Heavy cavalry!
Let's get you guys out this way. Have you flank round this side of the enemy. Yeah, I definitely want to kill those archers, which is what Magarix is on the job doing at the moment. Because enemy missile units will just screw us over.
Ready to ride!
Our poor infantry just don't have any armor.
Riders forward! Spearmen! Ready!
I can't even tell you guys to like form a spear wall or anything like that to try and reduce casualties. I can't even tell them to spread out, in fact.
Warriors eager for blood! Advance at speed!
Tell you what you can do though, you can run over there and start fighting those,
Our generals
what are those,
under
hoplites, citizen militia? Go pin them down. Alright, fall back, fall back, fall back. These guys aren't actually on skirmish mode, and they probably should be.
Infantry!
Spear warriors!
Alright, you boys. Murder some archers for me, if you would. If you'd be so kind.
To charge!
Spear warriors!
What are they doing over here? You know what, actually, get right behind them. Sandwich the buggers. They're doing their whole hoplite formation thing, aren't they, at the moment? What are we doing over here? Lots of gratuitous archer murder, I hope. That's what we like to see. Nothing more satisfying than watching a bunch of archers get what they deserve at the end of a cavalry charge. Over here as well. Yes, very good. Right, you charge them in the rear.
One of our units is
I might bring... Oh, do I want to bring... I was about to say, I might bring the chosen swordsman over there to help deal with that, but I don't think they're worth the potential casualties, to tell you the truth. The enemy's being very weird at the moment. They're sort of hanging back. They can't quite decide whether to go after my cavalry or go after my infantry.
Sons of Gaul!
Are they routing? They are routing.
Victory for Gaul! Galleys ready! Take aim!
Yeah, don't shoot them. Shoot something else instead. I don't need friendly fire adding to my casualties at the moment. We finished murdering all the archers. Looks like it. Form up into one big wall of cavalry at the back then, in that case. You guys getting pelted with arrows. Lovely. The arrows are very white, aren't they? I've noticed this. For a long time, I thought they were missing a texture and it was a bug, but they're not. Oh, wow, yeah, these guys are having a very bad day. Look at them wriggling around on the floor. Beautiful.
Archers! Cut them down! By your command!
Everything's going over here.
Spear warriors!
You've got them largely surrounded.
You have our spears!
Why not make that completely surrounded?
Spear warriors!
What's going on here? You guys sandwiched? Yeah, they're running away. You guys slowly marching towards my cavalry.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Are these the... Yeah, alright, you guys, skirmish mode. Throw some javelins at those hoplites.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
You have to be careful when you put them in skirmish mode, because the skirmish mode button looks very similar to the dismount button. I have in the past, at a crucial moment in a battle, ordered my cavalry to dismount instead of going to skirmish mode, and the result, as you can imagine, is never very pretty. Oh wow, these guys are wavering, and yeah, they're just getting pelted with javelins. Oh, this is amazing. It's like playing a horse archer faction. I love it. It's like playing as Parthia. Alright, there we go. That's it. That's us done. I think I'll end the battle right now. Lovely. Save replay. I'll save this one. 3. What was the name of this town? I don't remember. desert town. We'll see if that one ends up going, if that replay saves properly. There we go. How many casualties did we take? 121. We probably would have taken a little bit more than that if I'd auto-resolved it, I imagine. Although the distressing thing is they got 80 kills and I took 121 losses, which means that my idiot archers and skirmishers probably killed a lot of my own guys by just chucking their ammunition willy-nilly everywhere, which is frustrating. Never mind. Yeah, look, 3 units of archers with gold chevrons. What's that about? That's so weird. Anyway, I don't know how a garrison army gets experience like that. It just that boggles me a little bit. I don't understand how that works. Why do garrison units sometimes have experience? Maybe it's a random thing. But 3 gold chevrons for some of those archers seems a little more than random, if you ask me. Anyway. Loot it. Occupy, loot, loot. We're here for one thing and one thing only, and that is all the money. Even though, arguably, at this point, occupy feels like a more sensible option. The Doom Pigs have leveled up. Caxtos' Claws have leveled up. I renamed his army to Caxtos' Claws. Just thought I might as well. Alright, cool. I'll get these guys a tradition or two then. Wolves of the North, Hearth, Bearguard. Wolves of the North. Is there something cavalry related I could pick in here? That'd be nice. Hearth, Bearguard. Store Hearth, Defenders, Frontier, Garrison. Extra campaign map movement range is always nice. What are like banner pole options we got here for you? Something horse related, maybe? I don't think that's an option. I'll give you the bird then. That bird there, that's based on a ceremonial, possibly ceremonial helmet that got excavated. Actually, it has a bird on it, on top of it, just like that. I've seen pictures of it. And what's amazing about it, what's seriously hilarious and cool, is that the wings are actually articulated. So that when the bearer of the helmet, when the guy wearing the helmet is running in battle, the wings on the bird flap up and down, which I think is very funny. I think the intent was probably for it to be more menacing than funny, but nevertheless, I think it's pretty darn hilarious. They put hinges on the wings so that when you're running up and down with the helmet on, the wings flap. Very amusing. Anyway, let's level you guys up as well. Let's see. Formidable Spearman. Tempting. Frontier. More map movement range is good. Rapine Plunderers. That would be jolly appropriate. But it doesn't really... It's weird. It's called Rapine Plunderers, but actually what it gives you is minus 10% attritional losses when besieging, which doesn't... The name of the skill and the effect of the skill, I feel, do not necessarily match up as they should. There's some dissonance there. Wolves of the North. Let's see. Anything else good here? Provincial Guard. Nah. Rampart Takers. Plus 10% income from looting settlements. See, that's more in line with what you'd expect. Unrelenting Force. Fus Rodar. Let's have that, yeah. Let's have a bit of Fus Rodar. Inexorable Horde. Frontier Conquerors. Let's have Frontier Conquerors as well. More morale in offensive battles on enemy territory is good. Alright, cool. Right. Thapsacos is ours. Now, hang on a minute. Granary. Do I want to... Yeah, I can only convert a granary into a centralized ranch or a cattle ranch. And the problem with these is they both come with a massive public order debuff. Like the centralized ranch, -8 public order. I mean, it gives you a ton of money. An absolute bucket of money. A bucket of food and 8 livestock to trade as well. But the public order penalty for it is just hilariously bad. So I'm just going to click dismantle for that. I'm going to turn it into a farm, probably, because we're constantly running out of food at the moment. Stadia, that's a public field. We could convert that into a local market, a Hall of the Ancestors. Hall of the Ancestors wouldn't be bad, actually. Although we don't have the tech for that, sadly, actually. So we'll dismantle that as well, build something new out of that. Welcome to the diplomacy screen, everybody, where I've noticed that assuming the Seleucids don't have more territory isolated out here somewhere in the east, oh my god, look how much they've shrunk. That's it. That's the Seleucid. That's the mighty Seleucid Empire at the moment, everybody. It pretty much consists of Mesopotamia and not a lot else. Wow. It is worth noticing, by the way, that Pontus extends all the way down here. Pontus is getting big these days. In fact, look, they go all the way up here too. Actually, to be fair, that might not be Pontus. No, it's not. Okay, it's owner unknown. This is owned by Pontus, but if we go a bit further down here, it becomes unknown. I fell into that trap before, didn't we? But even so, actually, I have to admit, Pontus owns all this up here and all. Pontus is big. Pontus is large, but thankfully they're going eastwards and not westwards, so nothing for us to worry about. Actually, our diplomatic situation with Pontus has softened a bit. I've been doing diplomatic missions to them, and also I've noticed that we get a bonus to our relations with Pontus from our diplomatic missions to the Ptolemies, because they are friends with the Ptolemies. So, in spite of the fact that we're gobbling up Seleucid territory, we're managing to keep the Pontics relatively happy. They aren't about to turn around and invade us, I don't think. So they have very mixed feelings about us at the moment, Pontus, as you can see, the breakdown there. But, yeah. There's also a -10 to diplomatic missions to Pontus, because some of them have not been very successful, unfortunately. So that's not helping, but overall they're still neutral, so that's fine. If we go down here, Rhodes finally took a settlement. As in, they attacked it and actually decided to keep it, so Rhodes now owns Dura down here, which is nice, because it means that I no longer have a choice for where I want to go next. We're going to Hatra, everybody. Hatra is part of Mesopotamia, so I think, yes, it's the same province as Odessa, so I like to take cities that are part of the same province. It helps keep things tidy, whereas Dura is part of Palmyra. So, yeah, we're going to be marching on Hatra. My public order situation is not fantastic. It's +11 at Odessa right now, but that's only because these two guys are stood here. Thapsacos is at -7, which means Tarsos is as well. I'm sort of treading water with public order at the moment. The odd political action and just moving and shuffling a few characters around seems to be kind of helping keep things under control. In the meantime, honestly, I'm just going to keep expanding, gobble up some more Seleucid territory for myself while it's still there for the taking, and we'll worry about trying to, figure out our public order later, I think, rather than just sitting on my hands doing nothing. That's about all there is to mention, other than we're marching towards Hatra. I can't quite besiege it this turn, I don't think. No, we don't have the movement points to quite get there, but, yeah, we're going to stand outside Hatra and call dibs. Not that counts for anything, but I'd be surprised if the Rhodians can get here before we do. They might, though, actually. If you look at their movement, they could do it. They could theoretically do it. Apparently. Oh, you bastards, you better not. I'm going to be so annoyed if they do. But hey, never mind. It'd be nice to have Hatra. It's more money in the bank at the end of the day. Oh, my god, it's earning them 4 grand. 4 grand? That's AI money cheats, though, for you. And it won't earn us 4 grand. More like 400 if we're lucky. Yeah. On the bright side, actually, our money situation is excellent. Since we took Odessa and Thapsacos, we've gone from a slight deficit to plus 2 grand a turn, which is pretty sweet. I'd almost think about recruiting another army, were it not for the fact that I'm at my limit. I can't actually recruit any more armies. If I go here, yeah, we're at our army limit of 4 out of 4. Can't increase that until we go up an Imperium level, which I doubt we'll do if we take this town. Probably require another town after that to make it go up a bit further. So you get lots of negatives if you go up an Imperial level, up Premium level, of course. -10 to diplomacy with all factions from expansionism. Bunch of other negatives too. Empire maintenance goes up. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, that for sure. But yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. The army limit is a very, very annoying thing. It irritates me, but I understand why it exists. And why it exists is so that the AI doesn't spam you with army stacks. Because if you didn't have that army limit, just imagine how many Seleucid stacks would be dealing with right now, considering just Hatra is getting them 4 grand right now. If you took away the army limit, there'd be like 20 Seleucid stacks on their way towards Antioch right now. It would not be fun. It would not be good. So, on balance, I guess I'm glad that the army limit is there, even if it can be a bit frustrating. Right. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you when either I'm laying siege to Hatra or Rhodes has taken it from us. The bastards. I called it. I called it, didn't I? I called it. I bloody called it. Look who it is. It's Cosmas the Rhodian attacking Hatra, just as I thought he would. Greedy bastard. Yeah, he wants Hatra. I don't know if he plans to sack it or keep it for himself, but either way, it's annoying. However, funny thing is, because we were nearby, we've essentially been invited to the battle. So, there's his army, and there are ours. And then there's the garrison army, and then there's a nearby general's bodyguard, effectively, Antiochus. Is that him? That is King Antiochus II of the Seleucid Empire right there. Oh, I didn't realise we were in the presence of a celebrity, everybody. Well, we can't sit this one out. Oh, man. Ja, I think Magarix and Caxtos want to be the ones that claim his head. This should be fun. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I would say the tribe is ready for war, but that would be, strictly speaking, inaccurate, because this is no tribe. This is the army of the city-state of Rhodes, led by Cosmas the Rhodian himself, right there, sat atop his little horse, with a very impressive plumed helmet, as we can see. Yeah, there he is. There's the man. He's the architect of my frustration lately. You bastard. He sat atop his horse. Here's his army, such as it is. About half of it has died trying to get here at this point. Pretty much all these units are half strength right now, but there they all are. There's his hoplites and whatnot. Very impressive. Love the shields. Marvellous, beautiful shield designs. Very, very cool. This looks like a bunch of peltasts or something. Some more peltasts or light infantry of some description. Love the hilarious beard helmets, by the way. Those are just an absolute hoot. It's the Chad helmet. That's what it is, basically. It's the Yes Chad helmet. Love it. More hoplites. Oh man, it's one of those crazy... Look at that crazy beard. Look at that chin scruff. Goodness me. Anyway, they got some archers up at the front, I think. These would be Cretan archers, I would guess. And then some famous Rhodian slingers. I wonder if you guys are, like, really good slingers. Most slingers are crap in this game. But occasionally you do get a good unit of slingers. And I'm pretty sure Rhodian slingers are one of the good units of slingers. I wonder if they use lead bullets instead of just stones. Because if they use lead bullets, then they should be pretty mean, actually. The Romans used lead bullets for their slingers. That's what made them so effective, versus just throwing rocks. Anyway, yeah, I think he's got some cavalry on the flanks. Nowhere near as cool as your Macedonian-style cavalry, but I'm sure it gets the job done. Right, so here's the plan. Let the Rhodians take the brunt of everything. Absolutely. Here's the Seleucid army, such as it is. Again, it's more garrison troops, really. Bravely standing against us today. However, we are going to be coming along from over here. Magarix and Caxtos' army are going to be appearing on these ends of the battlefield over here. And somewhere, I genuinely don't know where. I mean, judging by where everything was on the campaign map, theoretically, I think King Antiochus and his bodyguard should be arriving somewhere from up here. We're in the middle of a desert right now, aren't we, pretty much? Yeah. Some real deserty terrain out here. These are basically sand dunes, right? Yeah. Anyway, King Antiochus should be coming along from up here somewhere. And, well, I want him dead. I want the honour, or rather, Magarix definitely wants the honour of taking Antiochus' head for himself. We'd like to do that rather than the Rhodians. Let the Rhodians deal with the main army. Let the Rhodians take as many casualties as possible in the process, hopefully. But Antiochus, I want his head. I want to put his head in a temple or a shrine. The brand new shrine of Tarsos we're building, we're going to mount his head as a skull in there. A skull, like a skull chalice type thing. And you think I'm kidding, but that was actually a thing. I'm pretty sure the Celts actually did that. They made like skull goblets out of some of their enemies and put them in religious shrines and things. They've been excavated. We have like archaeological examples of them. It's kind of nuts. Anyway, begin. So who's emerging on this side then? That would be Magarix. Caxtos and friends down here. He's got all of the lancers.
Our reinforcements have arrived.
Very nice, everybody. And yeah, as I suspected, Antiochus is arriving all the way up here. He's got an infantry unit with him. He's got his foot companions. Very impressive. Pretty good in a fight, I would imagine, this lot. No slouches. Let's have a look. Melee attack 10, melee defense 23. Armor 41. Yeah, these guys are no joke. Base morale 65. Woo. Good bonus versus cavalry. Yep, they're pretty tough. They are pretty darn tough. Equal of anything we've got. There's the king himself. He's not looking very regal, is he? I mean, very cool, like, lamellar arm plate things there they've got. That's pretty darn cool. Seleucids nicked that idea from the Parthians and the nomads and whatnot. There he is. He's a little shorter than I expected him to be. But anyway, there he is. Looks like the Rhodians are advancing on the enemy. Let's move Magarix and his boys up this way. Caxtos and friends up this way.
The enemy is attacking our ally.
Yes, they are attacking our ally. That's kind of the plan. I don't mind saying. Magarix, you can take your skirmisher cavalry, head this way, across the plain, see if we can try and get Antiochus. We might not be able to be honest with you. He's got spearmen and I've got cavalry, which, you know, traditionally spearmen win that particular game of rock, paper, scissors, but hey. There we go. That unit of spearmen just over there, that's King Antiochus, the one's taking fire currently from the enemy archers. We want him. Some of our main army is actually approached with remarkable speed. This is one of the things the Gauls have in their favour, is because they are so lightly armoured. They move across the battlefield jolly quickly. Let's have the baggage train towards the back there, shall we? Here's Caxtos' army over on this side. I'm going to move you guys into a sort of position like that. Although, once again, I'll put the baggage train at the back, please. Everything's going over here. Ooh. Alright, get back, get back, get back. You're not in... I didn't put them in skirmish mode. Should have remembered that. There was a unit of cavalry over here, but it looks like they've fled, or they've moved off somewhere else. In fact, I think that might be them there. There's a unit of Tarentines in the employ of the Rhodians. You know, I don't know how much damage we're going to really do to these guys with our javelins. They have a lot of armor, but throwing them at their backs is probably a good idea. Yeah, there we go. They're getting pelted from all sides. What are you doing? What are you doing? Do not charge straight into the face of those spearmen, you suicidal lunatics. What are you? Oh my god. That was close. Where's the king? He's in there somewhere. Half tempted to dismount these guys and fight on foot, but probably not a great idea. Then again, let's do it. Let's fight them the sort of honourable way, as we pelt them with javelins from either side. Let's move you guys off somewhere else. Let's have you then. Magarix versus King Antiochos. Have we got the chosen swordsman back here, somebody? Yeah, let's bring you guys up to help as well. It's in a straight up fight. I don't know who's going to win this. It says combat even. It says we're winning decisively. That's good. But, you know, other things going in the middle here. Looks like the Rhodians are cleaning house. It looks like Antiochos and his boys are wavering. They're giving up. They're trying to run. We've done it! Well, the bards will have some fun with this one, won't they? The great king of the Seleucid Empire. Yeah, and somewhere in the middle of that mess, he's died. Well, Magarix got what he wanted today. Oh, that was impressive. There's the last one. Well done, everybody. It looks like one or two of them are still alive. Alright, boys, you better go mount up again, I guess. Well, well, look at that. Came, they kicked ass, and now they're leaving. Magnificent. There it is. 0 losses for us. It didn't even manage to take down any of the bodyguards of Magarix. That's impressive. I did have a little peek at Magarix's unit stats, actually, just now, and yeah, Magarix's boys they have very impressive stats, actually. I mean, the Seleucid guys' stats were very good, but so are them. Slightly worse defense on Magarix's bodyguard, but much higher attack and armor that is just as good, actually. So it's that good old Gallic chainmail. Yeah. Now, admittedly, I'm not going to sit here and pretend it was a completely fair fight. You know, we did pelt them with a lot of javelins, and their morale was shattered. But what surprised me is that when the fight actually started, and before they started routing, we were winning decisively, which amazed me a little bit, actually. I thought it was going to say even at the very least, because, you know, there were a bunch of spearmen in their hoplite formation. So, I kind of figured it would be more of an even fight than that, but apparently not. Apparently not. Well, not as many Rhodians died there as I would have liked, but hey. We may not take the town, but we took the head of the king of the Seleucid Empire. And that's not too bad. I'll go ahead and ransom the captives, just to keep Pontus happy, basically. that's it. I can't see right now if they've taken the town or if they've just sacked it. It's frustratingly just off the edge of the screen. I'd like to see. I think I'm probably going to end the episode on that high note, honestly. So I just, as soon as this end turn's done, I'd like to have a little look at what's happened here. Because if they haven't taken it for themselves, guess what I'm going to do? Riot at the capital. A riot has started in your capital. You suspect it was instigated by one of the other political parties. Damn you, Hipparchos! Or was it? No, Sacrapo. That was the crafty one we had to keep an eye on. Sacrapo, you bastard. Accuse in public, accuse in private, crush the riot. I think we'll just crush the riot without revealing our suspicions. Increase in rank. Magrix is rank 5 now. Lovely. Iaros, new chieftain. As the son of a prominent chieftain, this man has taken his place as a leader of our people. Although his birth has secured him an important position in the tribe, his actions going forward will determine whether or not he deserves such honours. His destiny is now his own to mould. Important character. Was that somebody else's heir that's come of age by any chance? Oh, Iaros. Hello. Who the devil are you then? You can't be Akitawan is his son because she's only 3 years older than you. Who are you? Who is this guy? I mean, he's a chieftain. He's a prominent chieftain of the Tectosiges, obviously, but doesn't appear to be related to any of our main characters. What I will say for him, though, is that he has an absolutely magnificent moustache. So, excellent. I like to see that. Joy. Crisis? What crisis? +2 public order, local province, -10% city centre building construction costs. Nice. Noble. He's a scout. Cheerful. Yeah, you don't say. I got that impression from reading this. -20% chance of evading enemy agents, +2% empire maintenance, but +3 public order per turn, local province, +4 to chance of having children, and +8% replenishment rate for all units. This guy, I suspect, may make an excellent general at some point. Maybe even a decent governor. Student, deputy, and scrapper. I like you, Iaros. I like you a lot. You seem like a cool dude. Don't know what we'll do with you just yet, but you seem like a cool dude. Anyway. Hatra. Oh, has it been liberated? As like a client state of the Rhodians or something? Yeah, it bloody has. Araba. It's a client state of the Rhodians now. You get. Right, that just leaves Seleucia. The grand prize. Seleucia, as such, was founded just 20 years after the death of Alexander the Great, when an earlier city was enlarged and dedicated as the first capital of the Seleucid Empire by Seleucus I Nicator. Although Seleucus soon moved his main capital to Antioch in northern Syria, Seleucia became an important centre of trade, Hellenistic culture, and regional government under the Seleucids. The city is populated by Greeks, Syrians, and Jews. Standing at the confluence of the Tigris and the Euphrates, linked by a major canal, Seleucia was placed to receive traffic from both great waterways. So they've got that, and they've got Charax down there in the Persian Gulf. Modern-day Kuwait, basically. I think. Well, folks, I don't know why the Radians have got... There they are.
For the tribe.
I feel conflicted about moving my armies away from my newly conquered territory quite that far, but boy oh boy. I'd like to be the one to sack Seleucia. I really would. I'd really like to the one to be the one that sacks it. I don't think I'm going to take it. I don't think I'm going to occupy it, loot it, or anything like that. It's just too... The border gore is already bad enough, but this is just all the way out here. An absolute burden to feed and defend this city. I don't think I want to take it for myself. I might have changed my mind if we were able to take Hatra But Rhodes once again has frustrated my efforts. Cosmas, you're an annoying little prick. You are. You have just frustrated my efforts in this campaign to no end. However, I still would like to sack the place. I think that would be fun, just to say we did it. We wouldn't get an awful lot of money out of it, I suspect. Nowhere near the amount we'd get for looting it, but I'd like to be the ones that did it. We're the ones that killed Antigonos, or Antigonos. That's the Macedon. That's the king of Macedon. Antigonos, I think. Antiochos. That was the one. We killed the king, and I'd like to be the one to sack the capital. Just for the bragging rights. That's the new king, by the way. King is dead. Long live the king, and all that. That's the new guy. I don't suppose.
You have my attention.
No.
Speak and try to do it well.
Likelihood of success low, as usual. How does Pontus feel about us at the moment? They're in the green. They're in the green. They're still neutral, but they're in the green. Releasing those captives might have helped. Although, actually, it looks like all of their negatives from us being at war with the Seleucids have disappeared. I think maybe Pontus has officially decided they don't like the Seleucids that much anymore. Which doesn't surprise me, because the Seleucids are, well, clearly the losing side in this contest. Here's a few new factions, though. Ekbatana, Atropatkan, Parza. Some new guys on the map. Can't trade with them, but there are new guys on the map regardless. I should mention, actually, that Odessa over here, this is on the Silk Road, and there's actually a building we can build here that is related to that, which could make us lots of money in the future. However, we are going to need to wait for the population to grow first, because at the moment, building the enclosed land and the shrine is more important. But just worthy of note, that's the Silk Road, and it could make us a lot of money in the future. Anyway, folks, yeah, on that damp squib, I'm going to leave you. How are things over here? They're not great, but it's nothing I can't keep under control with with one or two political actions, I think. Why is this at -6? Cultural differences is the answer, pretty much. We're trying our best, but taxes, cultural influences, and provincial instability, which is going down, admittedly, slowly. So yeah, we'll have them under control. So I think I'm happy to leave them. I think I'm happy to march onwards without, having to sit around and patrol. So onwards. I feel like I should have saved before I made that move. You know what Total War games need? They need an undo button. These games need an undo button on the campaign map so badly. Just like XCOM needs an undo button. But anyway, there we go. We'll start marching down there. Hopefully, we can beat the Rhodians to the capital. We're basically in a race with these guys now. Oh gosh. Anyway, that to look forward to next time, everybody. Hopefully, we can sack Seleucia. We didn't get the privilege of doing it to Antioch. By gum, I want to make sure I do it this time though with Seleucia. So, yeah. Next time, everybody. I'll catch you then. Toodaloo.